56, look at that, 57. I think that's our top speed, ladies and gentlemen, 50 mile an hour. Yeah, we're doing 40, just a normal mode. Wow. I do believe that is the fastest I've ever seen a bike go up that hill. This is the King Goat by Goat Power Bikes. A much anticipated bike. Definitely will be probably one of the most popular bikes of this year, I suspect, and maybe into next year as well. I'm Wyoming Rider, and I review electric bikes and other electric devices in the most rural state in the country. So come along with me on a new adventure. So next, let's go over some of the specs and features of this wonderful bike. As you can see right away, this is a mid-drive bike. It doesn't have a rear hub motor like most, so this is kind of a first for Goat Power Bikes as far as a regular bike. They do have two e-motos that are in this configuration, and as you see, this mid-drive motor is not your typical e-bike mid-drive motor. It does look a lot more like the e-moto mid-drive motor, and it has the same configuration, and you can tell that is a actual motorcycle chain and a motorcycle sprocket on there. It's much bigger than a regular bike chain. All right, with that being said, let's first of all, we'll start with that battery. This comes with a 72 volt, 40 amp hour battery, and these are Samsung cells, 21700-50 GB cells. It charges to a max voltage of 84 volts, and it has a charge time of 4 to 5 hours, and I'll show you why here. Because they supply you with this big, nice, massive, actively cooled charger, and this does charge at 11 amps, which is outstanding. So it does charge that battery pretty quick. When I was putting this thing together yesterday, I plugged that battery in, and long before I was done assembling it, it was already charged, because I think it was probably already 80% to begin with, and it charged very quickly. That charger does make a little noise, but hey, that's worth it, because it charges fast. To see that charger is UL certified, so that's a good thing to know. Next, we're going to the motor here. This mid-drive motor here is a 3500 watt nominal mid-drive motor, and it peaks at 8,000 watts and has 320 newton meters of torque. And it has a transmission gear ratio of 1:3.6. And of course, this is a aluminum frame, and it does have full suspension, and I'll show you that more here. These front forks here are trauma forks at 100 millimeters of travel here, so you can get a little closer look at those front forks. Like I said, these are trauma front forks. They do have an adjustment and a lockout on this side here. They do not have adjustment on the other side, but like I said, that does have 100 millimeters of travel, and I did get the gold version. I figure most people's going to get the black one. I wanted it to be a little different, so that way you can get to see what the gold version looks like. And it does have the nice radiant King Goat graphic on the side. Same way up here in the front forks. It does have the little guards on it. And of course, that just holds this front wheel on here with a through axle. And here's how the rear wheels hold on with this giant massive axle bolt there, and that's a pretty nice sprocket on the back there. Like I said, you can really see how heavy this chain is. Anyway, in the rear suspension, you have this nice fast ace shock here, and it does say that fast ace shock there. It goes from 450 to 900 pounds, so it is adjustable, and it does also have this awesome linkage you can see down here. So yeah, it works very well. I'd say it may be almost too soft for me right now. I may have to tighten it down a little bit, but I need to do some more testing, and then I'll figure out what I need to do there. And I'll move up right here. This is your charging port. So once you get this massive battery hooked up, and let me tell you, it is not the easiest thing to do, because it is really heavy, and that big plug is like right here, and you have to get it up in there. And the way I figured out you have to do that, you have to route it kind of back here under the seat, that cable, to really get it to go in there. And then this charge port here ends up hooking up here. And I'll try to maybe show you some pictures. I tried to take a few pictures of that because I run out of daylight. I had to finish all that inside. But yeah, it wasn't too bad once I figured out which direction it went. But yeah, look at how the pedals are hooked to this mid-drive motor. As you see, there is no sprocket for that like a normal bike, but these pedals are directly linked to this mid-drive motor, and they do work for pedal assist, as you'll see, and it works quite well. Now, I just wanted to be able to take you around to this side of the bike, so yeah, you can see the other crank arm and pedal on this side and see how it's just hooked directly to that mid-drive motor. We do have another little King Goat graphic on this side, and we have a nice motorcycle grade kickstand here. And what makes this one unique, I'll show you here. There's a little plug right here. So this does have a sensor in it, so you don't accidentally leave your kickstand down, because if that kickstand's down, it will not go anywhere until you put that kickstand up. And for me, that's a good thing, because I have a really bad habit of leaving mine down. But the difference between like the Mini Goat brakes and the brakes on the King Goat here, the Mini Goat just has mineral oil in those. These actually have the .4 fluid, just like a real motorcycle. And these are paired with these massive calipers here, and then very nice thick 220 millimeter rotors on the front and on the rear, along with another one of those big massive calipers. So it should have excellent braking power. We will test out. And man, I must say, this comes with a really nice seat. It looks a lot like the one that come on the Mini Goat. Matter of fact, they're interchangeable. But this one is more leather, and it seems a lot softer. It's very soft and very nice seat. I may not even have to change the seat. I really like that seat. It feels really nice. But they also do have this nice mounting point up here, so you can put the extra 20 amp hour battery up here. But just so you understand and to make this clear, this does not have the same battery as the Mini Goat. It will fit, the Mini Goat one will fit up here, but you don't want to do that. So I was told by Bryson they are different, because the battery, like in here, is meant for that 95 amp controller that's in this bike, which is actually located down here. So with the Mini Goat, it's only made for a 60 amp controller, so that battery doesn't have as high an output, so you don't want to mix those two batteries together, but instead you should get the 20 amp hour battery made for the King Goat. And I do believe that nice big long seat, and I know the other custom seat, both Tapia seats will fit this. The same ones that fit the Mini Goat and the Motor Goat will also fit this bike, which is really nice. So that custom seat I got on my Mini Goat would actually fit on here if I want to put it on here. So that's a very nice touch. Next, let's move up here to the cockpit. You got your classic Goat power bike set up here. And these mirrors I did put on myself, but it does come with some mirrors, and I'll show you those in a little bit. But it has the regular grips that you see on all the Goat bikes, the key switch, and it has the same control panels and the same display, but it does display does work slightly different in this one, as you'll see. So turn that key on there, you hold down the power button, and it's going to power on here. And as you see, like I said, it looks just like the other one, but there is a difference. As you see down here, you have a P on there for park mode, and like I said, as long as this kickstand's down, it's going to be in that park mode, and it's not going to go anywhere. So yeah, you can go over and hit the throttle, it's not going to do anything. So then you have your headlight switch in here, and it does have the same headlight as that's on the other Goat bikes, with that nice little halo effect on it, a little daytime running light effect. So yeah, there's your low beam, and there's your high beam. You probably can't see them because it's daylight out here. And it does have the same turn signals as the other Goat bikes, and it does have that little ground effect thing too that you can't see right now. And I'll show you the rear tail light. It's the same as it is on the Mini Goat. Very good tail light, very bright, especially the turn signals on this thing are very bright. It's a great thing. It does have the indicator on the display just like the Mini Goat does, and that's a great thing. It does have a horn built into that headlight. There you go. And it does have the hazard lights. So click that and they're all going to flash just like that. And this does have metal fenders on the front and rear. And I really like the way they designed this. It's nice and sturdy and should not go anywhere. Along with it does have this big chain shroud on there, so you don't end up getting in that big massive chain on there, because I'm sure that would not feel very good. And it does also have that little lock mechanism. You can store it up here, or if you put it down into here, it'll keep anybody from pushing your bike away very easily. They would definitely have to carry it, and it is pretty darn heavy. This bike does weigh 179 pounds, so it is definitely not a light bike, and it does say that right on their website. It weighs 179 pounds. Has a max rider weight, which is much higher than the Mini Goat, which is a good thing, and that's at 450 pounds, so pretty much anybody should be able to ride this bike. And the battery does weigh 45 pounds. It's in there, and it has a seat height of 34.7 inches. And I'll show you what I look like sitting on it here in a minute. But yeah, it does fit me quite nicely at 5'10". And also, just so you know, the wheelbase of this bike is at 53 inches. And it does have a nice camber on the front here. So it doesn't turn very sharp, but it should be very stable at high speeds. And speaking of that, it also comes with these real motorcycle grade tires on it. These are Novas. And these, of course, are a 16-inch tire in motorcycle sizes, but this is actually 20 in bicycle sizes. 20. Get a little close-up of what that tread pattern looks like on there. Should do okay in the off-roading as well, but definitely has a nice street pattern in the middle here. Should ride nice and smooth. Next, I just want to show you what it looked like sitting on it at 5'10". I do weigh currently about 215 pounds. That kicks down up. As you see, it fits me quite nicely. I can pretty much flat foot it. Feels really good, perfect. The seat's really soft and comfortable. Now suspension is just fantastic. Love the suspension. Feels really nice and plush. Very comfortable bike. The thing I want to mention right quick, it does have these nice metal well-go pedals, just like some of the other goat bikes. All right, now just quickly want to show you the accessories you get with it here. First, we'll start with that awesome charger I showed you earlier. So this is an 11 amp charger. Very nice. And they do give you all the tools you need to put it together with. Here's your wrenches. All of this little Velcro strap tool case they give you with all the goat bikes, because goat bikes always give you a nice amount of accessories. Really appreciate that. You know, a screwdriver, you get all your Allen wrenches and your other smaller wrenches, and you even get a tire tool or a couple of tire tools in there. You do get some touch-up paint in here, so if you get any scratches on your frame, they give you some nice instructions on do things like how to install your mirrors and how to use the display and that Bluetooth app that comes with it. Yep, and here's that lock I was talking about that goes here, and you can lock that rear wheel so nobody can just push it back away. And these are the mirrors that come with it. I personally don't really like these that much, but hey, it is nice that they give you mirrors. So I'm not going to complain because they do give you some mirrors. You do get some nice extra foam blocks and stuff for that battery, but I think I've already got it strapped in there good, so I don't think I'm going to need these. And this was just a packing little strap that was in there, but man, I found these come in really handy. It'll be the second one of these I got now. And we will be testing this out, but this is just the specs right off their site here for the speed. So you have different modes. We'll start with eco mode. It says that goes 28 miles an hour, whether you use the throttle or the pedals, and it claims to have a max range of 80 miles in that mode. In normal mode, it has a max speed of 40 miles an hour, throttle or pedal, and a max range of 68 miles it claims. And if you put it on the max torque mode, it claims to go 50 miles an hour with the throttle and 40 miles an hour with the pedals, kind of like the Mini Goat does, and max range of 37 miles. And in sport mode, it claims to go 40 miles an hour with the pedals and a max speed of 70 miles an hour with the throttle, which I will test that out, and a max range of 31 miles in that mode. But yeah, we'll test all of that out here in a few minutes. Like I said, this is just a first look video, and I will probably do a more in-depth review video later on, but we are entering winter time here now, so I don't know how quickly I'll be able to do that, so that's why I was trying to get this done as quick as I possibly can before it starts snowing and getting really cold here. Trust me, is probably coming in a few days. So without further ado, let's get this beautiful bike out on the road and see what it can do. All right, let's take out the King Goat for its first ride. Man, I'm very excited for this one. This is definitely one I've been waiting for, and I'm glad I got to get it before the snow started here. I was really concerned about that because it is probably gonna start snowing tomorrow, so who knows. It says, yeah, we're in winter time here in Wyoming already. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get this thing out here. This won't be a full review, but I will try to do the hill climb and the speed test, and maybe a little off-roading too, but we'll see. But yeah, let's get on out there and see what this beautiful bike can do. All right, we're down here at the hill test area. I went ahead and put it all the way up in the sport mode, and we're just gonna go up that hill there. We'll do like we always do. We'll go up here throttle only and see how it does. And maybe I'll go back and do it a second time, but using the pedals. So let's see how she does. It takes off fairly quick, but I don't know if it's like moto quick, but quick. Wow, this thing's accelerating. Woo! My God. I do believe that is the fastest I've ever seen a bike go up that hill. Hey, do you believe that even beats my brute? Wow, and it really accelerates when you use those pedals. So yeah, let's do this a second time, but we're gonna use the pedals this time. Let's do it again, and this time we're gonna give it some pedals. Here we go. Get the pedal action going here. Now, it does a little quicker with the with the throttle. So, yep, that shows you the difference there. About 10-mile-an-hour difference going up that hill. It'll probably go even quicker if you use them both at the same time. I'm not really sure. It is really jumpy though. Look at that. I mean, not to the point that it's like lifting the wheel, but you gotta understand too, this is a heavy bike. It does weigh 179 pounds, so not likely gonna pick that front wheel up. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it back down into normal mode for now. Definitely makes a lot more noise than say like the Mini Goat does, but the Mini Goat has a direct drive motor, and this has a mid-drive with a chain, so quite a big difference. But man, the acceleration this thing has. Wow, this could definitely, even in this mode, it could probably rival my Root for sure. Feels very good, feels very well balanced. See how it does in the curve here? Yeah, feels very good in the curve. Kind of like that noise it made. To me, not as noisy as the other regular mid-drive bike that I have. All right, let's go. I'm gonna put it up in the max torque mode, and we're gonna climb the V8 hill here with that in that mode and see how it does. It's pretty much like the sport mode, but that will change. Keep in mind with the they are changing the controllers on these. So this max torque mode, when you get the new controller, should have more torque than the sport mode, I believe. But yeah, it's I'm using both throttle and pedals. Climbing up this hill, doing, well, it was doing 37. There it goes, yeah, 37 and a half, almost 38. Going up the hill, so that's pretty good, even with this regular controller that come with it. This is the original controller. So let's turn here and do a little off-road test here. I think this should do quite well here, especially with this rear suspension this bike has. Soaks up those bumps like nothing. And this is a very, very rough road. If you watch some of the other videos, you know how rough this road is. Crazy rough usually. Look at all those holes. Just soaking them right up. Oh yeah, soaking it right up. Fix my draggy mount here. And the thing is, I've tried to put it in position where it wouldn't flop around, but it still likes to flop around. That's why I don't use this. There's a 360 mount anymore. I could never keep it in place. It does not like to stay. So let's try to do this a little different here. All right, let's put it back down into normal mode. Matter of fact, let's put it in eco. Let's see what it does. Let's see what kind of speeds we get in this road here. I'm just gonna pedal it first and see. Takes off very gradual in eco mode. Yeah, you could definitely ride the bike past in the eco mode to be just about right. It says it's throwing about 1400 watts there. Give it the throttle, and it does go slightly faster with the throttle. And we're going downhill. Just gonna let it coast down here. Very solid feeling bike, not having a lot of rattles or nothing like that. It was very solid. And once in a while I hear a little bit of something up front. I think it might be those guards up there on the forks. I kind of took those off of my Mini Goat because on that one they kind of rattle a little bit sometimes. All right, I'm not gonna play around at all with this. I just went straight out of here on the highway. So same place I do the Brute most of the time. So we're just gonna go out here so we can truly see what the top speed of this device is, and we're gonna be using the Draggy to do this. And that way I know it's 100% accurate. So without further ado, let's see what kind of speeds we can achieve here. Make sure we're all the way up. Just have a little bit of a lag with this display, I've noticed sometimes. All right, there we go. Now we're all the way up into sport. I don't see anything coming, so we're going to start on the side of the road anyway. And here we go. Get on out in the road now. Looks like we're already doing 46. 47, very stable so far. 49, 50. There you go, 52. Yeah, I'm definitely not seeing the 70. Looks like our top speed's about the same as the Mini Goat. About 50, 51. But man, very nice riding bike. I mean, it is super smooth and stable, but pretty stable at 51. It's right at what it says, 8,000 watts on the display. But yeah, very fast bike. I mean, it's not doing 70, but it's still not slow. 50 mile an hour, 52 is really good. This suspension is excellent. All right, we're gonna stop here and turn around and we'll go back the other way. We'll see if we get any more, but typically it don't go quite as fast the other way because it seems like the wind is always blowing from that direction. But it's pretty still day. I mean, there's a little bit of wind, but maybe like 5 miles an hour. I mean, it's nothing that should really be affecting it. So I think that's the true speed. But keep in mind, like I said, we are getting a different controller for this probably in a couple of weeks. So we'll go back and test it if I can and see what it says. But first, let's look at what the Draggy said here. So it did do the quarter mile in 25.48 seconds. I mean, that is just slightly less than my Spark Cycle Works Brute, I think. I think it did it in like 24. So not bad, not bad. Because this bike is cheaper too. So keep that in mind. It reached a 0 to 30, it said, in 8.16 seconds. Reached a half a mile in 43 seconds. Eighth of a mile in 15.98, and 1 mile in 78.24. And the top speed it did reach, it says right up there, is 52. Yep, that's what I saw. So like I said, we'll go back the other way now and see if it makes any difference. It really shouldn't, though. It should be just about the same. If not, it may be a little bit slower. Like I said, there's always seems to be a little bit of wind going back this other direction. Sometimes a lot of wind, but definitely always seems to be doing it when I take my Brute out here. Yep, I already feel that headwind. All right, let's get her all accelerated up here. Man, that's a huge bump there, but it took it very nicely. Should get a little more speed going down this hill here. Yeah, 56, 57, but keep in mind we're going downhill right now. Get over to the side here. Looks like I seen a car back there. Woo, what a dip. Well, we're getting faster this way. 55 mile an hour out here on the flat. But yeah, there must be a little more wind coming from the other direction because yeah, we're getting higher speeds this way, which is very unusual. Usually it's always the other way for me. But this speedometer seems to be glitching a little bit. Sometimes you'll see it drop down in speed and come back. But the Draggy's staying steady. Oh, look at that, 57. And we're going up a slight uphill. Well, now we're breaking the law. 56. Oh, 57 again. I think that's our top speed, ladies and gentlemen. 57 mile an hour for the Goat Power Bikes King Goat. And man, completely stable. Tell you, I could probably ride it without my hands at that speed, honestly. And this bike is so stable. I just can't tell you this, man, how stable it is. It is really, really good. Very stable. I think it's got perfect camber for high speeds. That long wheelbase actually helps it as well. Wow, very impressed though. Yeah, it's not doing 70, but man, 57 mile an hour, that is really, really good. So, with that being said, this time it did a quarter mile in 27.89. Of course, keep in mind we did start out going down a hill, so. But then even once we got out on the flat, we were still doing really fast there. Wow. And this time it did 0 to 30 in 10.73 seconds. Man, this bike is fast. Very fast bike. And its top speed on the Draggy said 58, but keep in mind that was going down that hill. But even out on the flat, we were doing 57. So that's what I'm going to give it credit for. It was doing 57 mile an hour. Seems to be its top speed with this original controller. Like I said, when I get the other controller and I put it in there, we'll try to do these tests again, weather permitting, because yeah, I'm going in the winter now and it gets very hard for me to do that, but I'll try my best for you guys. Awesome bike. And even after all that high speed run back and forth, we're still right now it's saying 92% battery, which is very good. Not bad at all. Let's just drop it on back down to normal mode here. This would be a normal cruising speed mode, and even in that, I mean, it's doing pretty darn well. See, its speedometer is glitching out a little bit. Every once in a while, you'll see it go to 0, then jump back up. But like I said, that's why I got the Draggy device. I know I can count on that. So sometimes even the phone GPS isn't 100% accurate. Yeah, we're doing 40, just in normal mode. Wow, insane. So yeah, this bike is definitely faster than the Mini Goat. Not quite as fast as my Spark Cycle Works Brute, but you got to keep in mind too that, man, I have quite a bit of money invested in that bike, so, and it is a direct drive. Yeah, I don't know that this has the torque of their typical e-motor right now with this controller in it, but I suspect that's going to change when he gives us the other controller. But he did want me to test all this out and let him know my opinion on it. But yeah, it's maybe a little bit calm, but it's by no means a slow bike, guys. I want to film going through these beautiful trees here. We're just riding through here in eco mode. So this boat is definitely perfect for the bike path riding. As you can see here, we're pedaling along, doing here about 14 or 15. Such a nice, smooth riding bike. Yeah. Definitely one of the nicest riding bikes that I've experienced. That is for sure. Yeah, let's take it on this little gravel path here. See how it does. Oh yeah, it's great. Like floating on a cloud out here. Very nice bike, and like I said, it's going to get even better with that new controller. Pretty excited for that, but it's already really good. Even without it, it'll be just fine, honestly. Shoot, I'm going to do something on this bike I don't normally do with the others, and I'm going to cut back through this field right here. This is an extreme off-road test here. It's got all these like rows of ridges or whatever. And it just went right over that. No problem. Definitely not something I would do with any other bike. But I had confidence this one would be just fine. The hell? Where are you blowing the horn, you crazy bike? That was weird. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. If you guys saw that, but all of a sudden the horn just started blowing on it for some unknown reason. And you see my hand's nowhere near the horn button. Alright, one other test I want to do here right quick is we'll do a brake test. Just to see, we're going to go too fast with it. Man, I really hate locking brakes up on bikes because it's just kind of rough on the rotors and stuff, but the brake pads. But we're going to go ahead and do that, and let's see how well these brakes work. I can tell you already, they work very well, but let's see. Wow. Excellent brakes, as we already knew. Got up the speed very quickly. I stopped about right here, I believe. I think I started about right here. So it went one block and about 2/3 of that one. So not bad at all. Excellent, excellent brakes, especially for a big heavy bike like this. Like I said, keep in mind, thing weighs 180 pounds, but then 220 millimeter rotors really help a lot. And having these motorcycle grade brakes, always welcome. I think they should put those in pretty much every bike because they work so much better. So much better. On a side note too, before I let you go, I am going to contact him about this horn button. I think there's just a glitch in this thing because even when you push it sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. I just think it's just a defect in mine. So keep in mind, anything like this happens, all you got to do is contact them. They'll send you a new one. No big deal. And the other thing I do want to point out to you that I kind of forgot to mention there is this does have a weird lag to it sometimes. Not always, see, like right there, but it's just minor stuff. Other than that, everything else works great. Excellent bike. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and end this video here, but first I'll give you my first impressions about this awesome King Goat bike. Like I said, the word awesome says it all. This bike is awesome. Very good bike, very fast bike. We did get up to a top speed of 57 miles an hour. Yeah, I didn't know they said 70 on there, but I always consider that's ideal conditions. Yeah, if I weighed like 120 maybe, I would be able to reach that speed and get a long enough stretch, but I doubt it. I suspect it may be maybe around 60 if you're much lighter weight. I think 60 is a lot more realistic, especially considering the power of this compared to like my Brute. My Brute's definitely pushing more than that now. It's pushing well over 10,000, and I'm only be able to get about 65 with it. So that makes perfect sense. I mean, 57 is plenty fast. It's probably way faster than most people need to go, honestly. And as far as the torque is okay. It will get better with the other controller, but yeah, I would like to see a little bit more torque, especially if you're doing a little off-road stuff up really steep hills. But it accelerates up the regular steep hills around here on the road. As you seen, it was accelerating. It went up there going like 38. So, and this bike is no slouch. I mean, I think it kind of got a bad rap for that initial review that Tell Happy did, but trust me, guys, it's an awesome bike. You got to compare it against other e-bikes and not really against the e-motos, to be fair. I mean, because this is really considered an e-bike. Yeah, even though it does have that style of motor like a e-moto, but that's what they make the dirt goats for, you know. But maybe it will be even closer to that once we get the new controller. I'll definitely test it out and see. But yeah, and I think they're only going to change the 2 top modes, and I think that's all it needs to, because the bottom 2 modes are already perfect the way they are. I think those are right where they should be. Man, I love the look of this bike. It looks like the Mini Goat, just a bigger version. It's got the same awesome lights on it. And when I do the full review, we'll do a night ride to you and show you the lights. But if you've seen the Mini Goat, you know the lights are going to be excellent. It's got the same headlight as all the other Goat bikes have. But yeah, we will be testing that in a later video. I may just do it in its own video as well, but we'll see. But man, my initial impressions, man, this is an excellent bike for the money. This is currently like $3,800. But if you do want one of these or any of the Goat bikes, please use my link down in the description below and my coupon code, Wyoming Rider. And if you do that, it will save you 5% off your total order, which when you buy something the price of one of these bikes, that's quite a bit of savings. And if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. And thank you so much for coming along on today's adventure with the awesome King Goat. And I'll see you in the next one.